Okay, we've looked at what is genius and do you have your own unique genius, and how comfortable are you with that? Are you getting comfortable with the fact now that you actually may be a genius? That everyone is already a genius and it's just waiting to pop through you. I mean, that's really exciting, isn't it? When you can think about that, you know, and don't let yourself get all befuddled by it. Relax into it. Assume that you are. Play like you are, because we're now going to go on a genius quest for finding your own genius. So let me talk a little bit more about genius so you can kind of find your comfort zone with it. Okay, first of all, there is the genius that already resides within you, that which has always been there. You're kind of born with it. You have a leaning to it, a propensity to it. You've probably done it before in your life. It's a natural thing for you. It kind of gives you the signature of you, the essence of you, the uniqueness of you. That would mark your own genius as different from everyone else's. But then there's also the genius that's just sitting, waiting in the air, in the space all around us. And it's waiting to be kind of plucked from the genius fields, or drawn in, or Google searched in the big internet. You could use that term as well. And it's waiting for us, for someone to draw it through and to realize that genius. So those two things will come together. So you do have your own unique genius, and you may be playing with that, but you can also learn to reach out and draw in genius. And what you do when you draw it in is you mix your own uniqueness, your own flavor into it, so that when it comes out as an outcome, it's your genius. Now, I'll give you an example of that. Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling says that when she got the Harry Potter books, she was sitting on a train and she downloaded all 7 books in a go. She knew what they were going to be. She had the whole story. She wrote out the thing immediately. She reached into the space, the consciousness, the fields around us, and downloaded that which was waiting to come through. Did that match with her own genius? Yes. Through her life, she'd had many of those experiences and had many leanings to those kind of things. So, for example, if I'd have been the person sitting on the train downloading what would be Harry Potter, there would have been more dragons in that book. That would be my own unique flavor added to it. So you can see, maybe it would get called something different. Maybe it wouldn't be Harry Potter because of my own uniqueness, my own background, and the ideas and the imagination that I would bring to it. But conceptually, that book was waiting to be written. The same as the woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, Elizabeth Gilbert. She went and did a survey of geniuses around the world. And there's a couple of lovely stories that will give you another example of this. There was a poetess who, as a young girl, used to work in the cotton fields in America. And she was said to Elizabeth that she could hear a poem coming over the far hill. She would have to run to the cabin to get her pencil and paper to jot down the poem before it went off over the hill to somebody else. That's how she phrased it. And I thought that was a beautiful way of talking about it. There was another man in that, in her telling of the survey that she'd done, another man who was a musician. He was driving in his car, a convertible, in the beautiful weather, and all of a sudden this song just came at him, and he was like, "Stop, wait, let me pull over the car so I can get it down," because it's in the space. Okay, so hopefully, having heard all this, you're starting to get aware that genius is in you and genius is waiting. And that you can put those two things together. Now, you're going to do that differently, perhaps, than anybody else. We are going to give you instructions on that in the next module. Absolute instructions so you can play with it. But I want you to play with your way. So here's a little bit of guidance on the road to that. So just take a moment, sit down, feel into yourself. Like, feel into your passions, your loves, your desires, your visions, all the good stuff of you. And let that kind of bubble up to you. That's that inner essence, that inner signature. It's going to come to the fore. You know, when you're really having fun, when you're really just not thinking about things, you're just letting it roll, that's when you are really you, and you're really having fun being you. So you want to kind of get into that space. So if all else fails, think of something you love and let that kind of bubble up in you, and then start to explore that inner genius. And then once you've got that, then I want you to also imagine that the space around you is just full of things just waiting to come to you. It might be a poem, it might be a picture, it might be words, it might be writing, it might be ideas for work, it could be anything. It might be a name for your next child, or your next book you want to write, or a brand new idea for a product at work. It could be anything. It's actually sitting here in this field, in this space, waiting for you to access it. So all you have to do is think of what you love, and then reach out and call that to you and see what happens. As I said, I don't want to get too specific just yet, because I want you to play on the Genius Playground and find your way to how that's going to show up for you.